As many of you know, I'm not a big fan of leasing a car in retirement. It's almost never the right decision if you're looking to stretch every dollar. But sometimes life isn't about maximizing every dollar. It's about peace of mind, convenience, and lifestyle. In this video, we're going to discuss 4 conditions where leasing might actually make sense. And if you're going to do it, we're going to talk about the 5 golden rules of leasing so that you don't get taken advantage of. If you're new to the channel, hi, my name is Jeff. I'm a CPA turned banker turned public speaker. I'm also a registered Social Security analyst, and I have over 25 years of financial services industry experience. I started the channel in 2020 really to help people who couldn't help themselves during that very dark period of time where we were all stuck at home. Today, the channel has over 50 million views, over 4 million hours of watch time, and over 335,000 subscribers. We would love it if you would join our YouTube family. All you need to do is click subscribe and turn on notifications, and you'll get alerted the next time I post a video. I post 2 to 3 times a week. All right, let's jump into it. Point number 1, you want a new car every few years and you can afford it. One of the biggest reasons people lease is because they like having a new car all the time. And there are a lot of reasons why they might feel this way. Maybe they spent their entire life saving money for retirement, driving used cars, and now is their time. A lease gives you access to a new vehicle without a long-term commitment. With every lease cycle, you can choose a car that has better technology, more fuel efficient, or just more comfortable. This means things like backup cameras, blind spot alerts, lane assist, and other safety features which may not have been available on the previous model. And it's not just about new features. New cars are more reliable. With a lease, you're almost always covered by the manufacturer's warranty for the entire term. This helps reduce surprises and, more importantly, helps you avoid costly repairs because something rarely pops up. Also, if you're not planning on driving for the next 10 or 15 years, maybe if you're only planning on driving for the next 3 years or so, a lease might make more sense. You're not paying for long-term ownership, you're paying for short-term reliability and peace of mind. Another reason that a lease might make sense is you're just not driving very many miles every year. After leaving the workforce, most retirees stop commuting daily. This means that they don't commute 10, 12, 15,000 miles per year, the duration of, say, a lease contract. When you lease a car, the mileage cap is one of the most important considerations to the lease, because if you go through that cap, you could pay 25, 35, even 40 cents a mile depending on the model. But if you're averaging 5 to 7,000 miles per year, you're in the clear. And this is one of the rare situations where driving less actually works in your favor. You're very likely to return the car in excellent shape, which means that you're not going to have to pay for additional wear and tear. So if your retirement lifestyle means a short trip to the grocery store, driving over to see friends, and the occasional long-distance road trip, well, a lease might be perfect for you. Next, you just want to preserve your cash. Once you go into retirement, you have a fixed income, and preserving cash is paramount. Leasing a car can help here because it often requires less money up front and lower payments for the duration of the lease. Let's say you're comparing leasing versus buying a $40,000 car, and we're going to put $5,000 down on that car or more. If you lease, you can start with $0 down and still get behind the wheel of that same car. But you won't own it at the end, of course. Lower monthly payments can also help give you more breathing room. The cash can stay invested, support your hobbies, cover medical costs, or simply just give you peace of mind. The key here isn't saving every penny, it's keeping flexibility in your budget. And leasing is undoubtedly not the cheapest option, but it does give you liquidity, and liquidity is quite valuable at certain times in your life. The next point is you don't deal with maintenance. When you're in retirement, car repairs can be quite stressful. That's one of the key reasons retirees choose to lease, because the car is covered by the manufacturer's warranty for the entire term of the lease. Also, because it's a new car, it's far less likely to break down. You won't be facing things like transmission replacements or $2,000 repair costs. Basically, you'll be covering things like tire rotations and oil changes. So if you're going to go ahead with the lease, let's talk about the 5 things that you need to focus in on so that you don't get taken advantage of at the dealership. Point number 1, don't start off the conversation talking about your monthly payment, because that's a bit like starting off with a conversation about a house payment. Are you financing your house over 15 years, 20 years, 30 years? It does make a big difference. Instead, focus in on the selling price of the car to the leasing company. That's the number that matters. You negotiate the selling price of the car to the leasing company as if you were buying the car outright. If you start off by saying $525 a month, well, you'll probably end up paying about $550 or $575 a month because it's just a little bit more. But in order to hit that number, the dealer can stretch the term of the lease, inflate the money factor, or tweak the residual value, none of which work in your favor. And importantly, you won't see what corners they cut to get there. So don't start with your ideal payment. Start with what is the selling price to the leasing company. Once that's locked in, then you can work on the monthly payments with your eyes wide open. Next, put no money down. Leasing companies love it when you put money down because it lowers their risk and they get cash up front. But for you, it's almost never a good idea. And the reason is because if you get in an accident and the car is totaled, your money disappears. You don't get it back. Instead, ask for a zero drive-off lease. This means that you put no money down and taxes and fees are rolled into the monthly payment. You, on the other hand, walk out with the keys and not an empty wallet. So let's say that you're comfortable with the process up until this point and you still want to lower the payment. Well, take the money that you would have put down to lower that payment and put it into a high-yield savings account, because in the event that the car is totaled, the money will still be in your high-yield savings account. Then take money out of the account, mortgage style, so it's level, every single month to reduce your monthly cost. And just to be super clear here, down payments on a lease don't build equity the way that a down payment on a car builds equity. They shrink your lease balance and add risk for you and take off risk from the leasing company. So keep your cash, keep your options open, and don't pay more than you need to. One of the most common upsells at a car dealership is an extended warranty, and those are almost always a bad deal for the lessee, i.e. you. The reason is because you're not going to hold the car past 36,000 miles in 3 years in most cases, and that's when an extended warranty really kicks in. And by the way, these warranties cost between $2,000 and $4,000 in most cases. That's like adding an additional $60 to $100 per month for effectively duplicating the coverage that you have with the primary warranty on the vehicle. If you decide to buy the car at the end, that's the time to talk about the extended warranty. Until then, just say no. You're already covered. Next up, ask for the money factor. The money factor is one of those terms that sounds very confusing when it comes to leasing, but all it is the interest rate on the car. Dealerships can legally mark up the money factor, and that's extra profit for them and a higher payment for you. So here are the questions you need to ask about the money factor. What is the money factor? Are you marking up the money factor? What is the base rate for the leasing company? The good news is that they're very specific, very direct questions, and you have a right to the answer to those questions. And the answer to those questions can save you hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars over the life of the lease. Knowing the money factor can help you compare offers, and it gives you a way to negotiate. It also lets the dealership know that you actually know what you're doing, which is something that can change the tone of the negotiation. Next, ask for the lease acquisition fee. Now, every leasing company has what's called a lease acquisition fee, and it's non-negotiable. However, what a lot of people don't know is that that is often marked up by the dealership. Say the lease acquisition fee is $795. Well, the dealership might charge you $995 and keep the extra $200 themselves. It's perfectly legal, but it's also not transparent unless you ask the question. When you're reviewing your contract, ask the question, is the acquisition fee being marked up? And if they say yes, ask them to waive the markup on the acquisition fee. Even if they say no, knowing that the lease acquisition fee exists and that it can be marked up, again, changes the tone of the negotiation. It changes their view of you from someone who may or may not know what they're doing to someone that they really need to pay attention to and be very careful with. At the end of the day, leasing a car in retirement isn't about ownership, it's about alignment. Does the lease fit with your current driving habits, budget, and lifestyle? If the answer is yes, and you follow the rules, leasing might be the right decision. No long-term stress, no big repairs, just an agreement that fits where you are in life today. If you like this video, check out that video, how car dealerships make big profit off of you using the 4-circle method. This is Jeff Schmidt, and I will see you in that video right there.
Holy Schmidt!